Hey everyone, this is Adrian from my channel Random Drop. If you like our content, make sure to subscribe. We're more than halfway to 1,000 subscribers. From there, this channel's quality and content can grow quite significantly, and I hope that you stick around. But anyway, let's get back to the video. Seekers of Eternity opens with you and Wuklamot checking in on the team in Solution 9. Wuklamot mentions she notified Koana about the situation inside the dome. It's been decided she should stay until things settle down. But while she is Gululjaw's guardian, she has to take care to not appear to be meddling in Alexandrian politics. The others have been tracking the false Queen Sphene. She's been making regular appearances and continues to encourage the Alexandrians to become endless. It's also been confirmed that only those wearing regulators have had their knowledge of the Queen's passing altered. The funeral is now known as a memorial for those who died during Zoraljaw's attack, causing confusion among some of the citizens. Cryo then mentions that there's someone she would like for both of you to meet and leads you to the break room, where Alize and Y'shtola are tending to their guests. You're both surprised and confused to find Queen Sphene sleeping. Y'shtola explains that this isn't the Queen Sphene you know, or her doppelganger. She's an individual of flesh and blood, possessed of a soul. The original Queen Sphene from Alexandrian history. When investigating living memory, they found her collapsed just outside the Meso Terminal. Unable to ask any questions, Y'shtola decided to take her to Solution 9. Alize mentions that Sphene's body was suffused with lightning ether, causing a debilitating paralysis. But thanks to her training on the first, Alize is able to use her Porksy abilities to rebalance her aether. Wuklamot asks how this is possible, as the real Queen Sphene died over 400 years ago. Moments later, Sphene wakes up, confused, and exclaims that she isn't dead. She looks around the room to unfamiliar faces and asks where she is. Alize tries to calm her down, letting her know not to strain herself, as she's been unwell for quite some time. Sphene asks for someone to make things make sense. Y'shtola agrees and asks her to confirm if she is indeed Queen Sphene of Alexandria. She confirms that she is indeed the queen, and explains that when she awoke, she was in a strange dark room. She then wandered outside to the site of a city, clad in electrope. Y'shtola explains that Sphene has been slumbering at the center of that city for many years, inside of the Meso Terminal. Sphene looks horrified, and Y'shtola asks if she wants to truly learn more at this time, as she will find parts unsettling. She nods in agreement, and Shale explains inside the Meso Terminal there was an electrope casket designed to preserve its occupant in cold stasis until it was shut down recently. She lets Sphene know that she was in that casket for 4 centuries. The young woman isn't able to come to terms with what she's hearing. Then Shale concludes that the reports that Sphene died during the storm surge are now false. The party then spends a long time talking to Sphene and bringing her up to speed, while trying not to cause too much strain. Thankfully, Alize's remedy worked, as she is on her way to a full recovery after years with the Levin sickness. She is also now proof that there's a cure for Levin sickness. Now they're able to help others in Alexandria with the same illness. Sphene is happy to hear the good news, but as she takes it in, another wave of anxiety washes over her, still unable to come to terms with everything. Gululjaw suggests that maybe going out and seeing the new Alexandria might help. Wuklamot thinks it's a good idea, but it's very possible that they'll run into the fake Queen Sphene while outside. Sphene confides that she does feel anxious, but she still wishes to see her people and learn more about them. After letting Sphene put on an outfit to hide her identity, you and Wuklamot escort Sphene throughout Solution 9. Eventually, you all decide to make a stop and get some drinks to relax. Sphene notices how well liked Wuklamot and Gululjaw are by the people, and she reminisces a bit on how great they used to make her feel. She drinks a bit and confides in you. She says that Alexandrians are not her people anymore. The city, their way of life, and even the ground they tread on. She's a stranger to all of it. The weight of the passing centuries are beginning to sink in. She feels completely alone and finds that she has no place in Alexandria. But still, she's happy Alexandria endured, and that all of their sacrifices were not in vain. She apologizes for darkening the mood and thanks you for lending an ear. Once Wuklamot and Gululjaw are done talking to the citizens, The party explores the city further. While exploring, you run into a man having a panic attack. He explains that he suddenly had flashes to when he died during Zoraljal's attack. You rally the man's spirits and help him work through it. His name is Malachite, an usher. Ushers used to be tasked to take those without long to live away to live out the last of their days. But Wukelmat summarizes, since the shutdown of the terminal, that his duties most likely changed. He lets her know that she's correct. Ushers no longer attend to the dying, but instead convey their remains to a government storage facility. Currently, Alexandria is undecided on what to do with the bodies, so they're kept in cold storage, as Alexandrian burial rites and customs have been long forgotten. Malachi is in the area on a personal mission. Over time, he's gathered the personal effects of those who departed. Even though his memories of them are long gone, he still knows where they used to live, giving the families the right to choose to accept these items or not. You and Guloja offer to help with Malachite's deliveries. The recipients' responses are mixed. For one individual, it reminds them that life isn't assured and that they should mend things with their family now rather than later. For others, it's a reminder of their inevitable death, and it causes further stress. You let Malachite know as much, and he agrees it can be difficult to cope. He personally believes that we are the sum of the moments we shared with our loved ones. And when those individuals pass away and they lost their memories of them, they lost part of themselves as well. Wishing that if the memories of the departed can no longer be entrusted to the cloud, he would want them returned to the people. Malachite thanks you for your help and says goodbye to his new friends. Sphene agrees with Malachite's views, saying that memories are what shape who we are, and without them, we wouldn't be the same person. Her endless self was the same at one point, but eventually diverged, making choices she wants to believe she never would. But she's still coming to terms that a version of her did though. While talking, Wukelmat notices the fake Queen Sphene staring at the party from afar. She then turns and smiles, hinting that she wants everyone to follow her.
Huh? Hey, are you all right?
So she didn't die. Vexing, but expected.
That was about the strongest bolt we can produce within Everkeep. What now?
We obtain more precise measurements. Narrow the range of variables to avoid unnecessary trial and error. That is the most expeditious course of action.
I know that voice. You there! Yes, you! We have important business with you. We left something in your keeping, the key to interdimensional fusion. You will kindly return it to us, yes? Now that you mention it, the other way around may have been more appropriate. If I had the key, I wouldn't need to be cruel and turn away so many people. Far more than 5,000 could become endless and know eternal happiness.
What? You mean to steal ether from other worlds again?
All is for the sake of his experiments. 'Twas for that reason, you know, that the previous me created the Endless. I pity her. She was forced to attempt the impossible, to turn every soul who dies into an Endless, even though there's no end to them. Admittedly, that was part of the plan. Her desperation would drive her to claim the key and use it, and sure enough, she did just that. I know you had a soft spot for her, Lamachi. So for what it's worth, I'm truly sorry. Alas, we are naught more than pawns, pieces in his grand design.
Don't you dare make light of her love for her people. Don't you dare!
Strike me down if you wish. I shall be made anew. And I doubt many would look kindly upon the vow of resolve of Tuliolol if she attacked a neighboring queen, and not for the first time. Would you be willing to accept the repercussions?
Damn you!
You're speaking to me. Our goal is to usher in the next phase of mankind's evolution. Since time immemorial, life has used death to facilitate adaptation in an ever-changing environment. The old and infirm are weeded out, allowing the species to thrive. Generational succession. This has been our survival strategy. Yet, this strategy has long since reached its practical limit. It is outdated. It relies on progeny, which gives rise to unchecked population growth. Resources become scarce, invariably leading to conflict. All the while, death is ever present and robs our species of untold potential. Where man now stands in his evolution, bodies of flesh no longer make sense. What we must strive for next is carefully managed, eternal preservation.
Calyx! You're Calyx, aren't you?
You know him?
The young genius who had mastered electrode technology. He founded the scientific collective known as Preservation and devoted himself to developing a cure for the paralysis which plagued our people. Calyx, you always had your gaze set upon the future, and I know you do now. But I beg you, do not deceive the people of Alexandria. Do not manipulate them with this imitation forged from my memories. Well, how rude. Yet, whatever you may say, I'm the one whom the people regard as queen. You may have worn the crown for a few years, but now you are no one. Just a frail, fleshy version of me that could die at any moment. The kingdom has no use for such as you.
Our demand is simple. Surrender the key. Refusal will necessitate consequences.
Afterwards, Sphene thinks on the fake Queen Sphene's venomous words. She realizes that the people have no need for Queen Sphene. It was the Queen of Reason, her endless, that they love. The others listen and let her know they're here to help, and currently, she's the only one with information on their new enemy, Calyx. Sphene explains that Calyx was a prodigy that specialized in the field of electrope, making his mark during the storm surge. But he was ill from birth, leaving him with little precious time to live. Sphene assumes that he made an endless of himself, and that's who they're currently dealing with. Wuklamot never thought that they would be dealing with a member of Preservation. Galulja agrees and suggests that they should head back to the Oblivion headquarters, as they've spent many years studying the group. Maybe Shale will have more information. In the back rooms, you fill everyone else in. Grahatia summarizes what they've learned, that Calyx plans to siphon Aether from the other worlds as well. But unlike the Endless Sphene, he has no intention on saving everyone. He would know precisely how much Aether is required to sustain an Endless, thus set a realistic limit to their creation without being swayed by emotion. Wuklamot assumes that he's the one who wiped everyone's memories of the death of Endless Sphene, but it's still unclear why and what his true motive is. Tracing Calyx's signal, Shale followed it to a terminal deep below the Everkeep, the old castle of Alexandria. Graha believes it's a trap, but it's their only lead. You agree he's right, but decided to go anyway, unwilling to leave Calyx to his devices. Preparations are made to take Everkeep's elevator down to its foundations, and Sphene asks to be brought along, believing her knowledge of the castle's layout will be helpful. Inside, Calyx set up multiple barriers of enemies to further gauge your strength. After clearing away all hostiles, the party agrees to move further into the castle together.
Before my illness left me bedridden, I used to walk through here on my way to watch Otis and Zelenia train. You knew Otis, if I'm not mistaken. Zelenia was his second in command in the Royal Knights of Alexandria. Oh, how I loved to see the two of them spar. I once dreamed of fighting by their side, so I studied the magical arts under my tutor. But when I was 15, the storm surge broke out, and both my father and mother passed away. As the new queen, I was forbidden from taking to the battlefield, for our nation would fracture had I died without a successor. Though in the end I could barely move, I regret that I didn't go out there and fight. At least while I still could. My endless self lamented not being able to protect the realm with benevolence. 'Tis a feeling to which I can relate.
Sphene.
Ah, forgive me. 'Twas not my intent to darken the mood. Come, let us press on.
This is one big castle, though. How far does this hallway go? Do you know, Sphene? What?
What happened? Oh, it seems our guest brought company. So this was your doing? It was. We installed a teleporter that is triggered by the presence of the key, you see? I'm afraid etheric transmissions cannot penetrate the walls of the throne room. It will take your friends a good while to find you.
I confess the Valia Pira did not suffice to assess your capabilities. So I shall try something else. You are free to use anything at your disposal. The better you fight, the more accurate my data. Attaining a precise measure of your strength, that is the most expeditious way to reclaim the key to which you so stubbornly cling.
Ah, noble Zilenia, dashing as ever. These villains mean to do us harm. Strike them down, I bid you. What? This machine is Zilenia. Indeed it is. We couldn't preserve her memories while she lived, so she has been reconstructed from our recollections of her. The endless me being created in answer to the earnest desires of Alexandrians. That I can accept. But to twist the memories of those I held dear and treat them as playthings. This disgrace I cannot abide! Loath though I am to comply with their demands, this monstrosity must be destroyed. Not least of all for Zilenia's honor. If she was indeed created from my memories, even if I cannot fight, I may be able to offer you counsel. So please, lend me your strength and end this farce.
There it is.
With the power of the Crystal Vazem and Sphne's guidance, you're able to defeat the Fallen Knight. After the fight, Sphene confronts her other self, saying that she and Calyx are not fit to be entrusted with the cherished memories of Alexandrians. Calyx is unfazed, as if Sphene is wasting his time. He is confused on why you would hold on to the key so desperately, believing that there's no downside if the Ninth and the Source both harvest Aether from the reflections. In this moment, it's revealed that Calyx and the fake Sphene are aware of the source and its 13 reflections, information only known to a select few. The false queen taunts you both and says their conversation has run its course. Before leaving, Calyx says he's leaving behind a gift for consenting to his tests, and the two Endless disappear. Afterwards, Sphene takes time to mourn her friend. Meanwhile, the rest of the party enters the throne room. You inform the rest on what happened, and Cryo finds it odd as well that Calyx knows about the source and its reflections. What is even odder is that he called his shard the 9th specifically. Wooklamot mentions that while exploring the castle, they found a library. Cryo asks Sphene's permission to take books back, hoping to learn more about preservation. Shale then heads to the terminal behind the throne to connect to it. On the throne sits Endless Sphene's crown. Wooklamot is confused on what it's doing here, and Shale summarizes that Calyx used the crown to create the false queen, as the object is a regulator. Now that they have it, there should be no worry on any other copies of the queen being made. But she finds it odd that Calyx would leave something so precious behind, thinking maybe he had no need of it now that the queen has played her role. Sphene picks up the crown, asking the others if she can keep it, promising the others that they can examine it anytime they have need. After Shale's done, everyone makes their way back to base, and Sphene says goodbye to her friend one last time. Back at the base, you take time to call your other friends and update them. Istola is working with the government to form a plan to treat those with Levin sickness. Alphano is taking the temperature in Solution 9 and talking to the people. Alize was given permission to start treating some with the sickness, and she is checking up on one of her patients, Milos, the boy Endless Sphene introduced you to. Arenvel is in the outskirts talking to the people and gathering information. You update the rest of the back room on the status of their friends, and Wooklamot suggests that they should go visit Milos. Sphene asks if she can join as well. Milos has taken to the treatment well and will eventually be able to live a normal life. His mother is thankful, thinking about the times she wished Milos would turn into an Endless to stop his suffering. Milos' mother considers leaving Alexandria to protect her son's health. While she and Wooklamot discuss details, Milos expresses his joy in being able to talk again, recalling the times Endless Queen Sphene promised that she would one day cure him. Sphene begins to realize how much her people loved her endless self, giving people like Milos hope with nothing but her presence and words. Wooklamot agrees, saying her love for them was very real. Sphene looks at the crown and vows to stop whatever Calyx is planning in order to honor the memory of her other self. On the way back to base, an announcement is made that all Neo regulators have been distributed and that their owners should register them promptly. Sphene notices the uneasiness in the air as the people begin to doubt and argue with each other. It seems as though the fake queen's plan was to poison the people's mind, giving them the hope to transcend death even though it's false, undoing much of the progress that was made to reduce Alexandrians' reliance on spare souls and regulators. The fear of death spreads even further. But when you arrive, Nostalgia informs everyone that a citizen was killed by a mechanical soldier nearby. Galulja is confused as he gave no such order. Shale believes Calyx must be disrupting Galulja's authority. Just before you head out to take stock of the situation, Arenville calls you via Link Pearl. A villager was attacked in the outskirts as well, and more soldiers are headed his way. Everyone agrees to head to his location quickly. By the time you arrive, Arenville led the hostile sentries outside of the village. After saving him, everyone regroups to discuss matters. While you were helping Arenville, Sphene came upon Malachite, who had duties in the area. He explains he was called to tend to the body of the villager that was killed by the soldier, but when he arrived, he found no body, only a pile of dust. He asked the residents, but no one knew what happened to the body. The party is confused on what's going on and what Calyx has to gain from these random killings. But before anyone can figure out the mystery, you get another emergency call, this time from Grahatia. Even the everyday machinery is going haywire, killing even more civilians. Sphene rushes back to save those who she can. With Wooklamot in tow, you and Galulja decide it's best you follow, while the rest monitor the outskirts.
ahead. I leave her with you.
Bloody things have gone mad.
Why is this happening? Surely there's a finite number of these things.
Everyone, please try to remain calm and make your way to resolution. This is just like before, when Zoroja unleashed the soldiers on us. I don't have any souls left. I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
Are you all...
No! No! Why did you do that? Why? You can't just leave me alone like this! If we had been endless, then you'd still be here. You'd still be with me. But now...
Are you all right? So many hurt. So many dead. This is wrong. This is all wrong.
After the attack, you and your friends gather. Y'shtola notices that the machine rampage was only temporary, as all of the machines stopped operating all at once, as if they fulfilled their goal. Crow asks if Galulja's regained his authority. He confirms that he is in control once again. Y'shtola wishes to shut down all the machines as a safety measure, but Galulja mentions that he and Wukelmat already discussed the matter with the Everkeep's administrators, saying it's not so simple of a matter, as the soldiers don't only serve as guards, but they also perform vital tasks, like medical treatment and food production. Shutting them all down will only cause further issues. In the meantime, Galul Jaws restricted the soldiers from being able to use weapons anymore, hoping to make things a bit safer. Y'shtola agrees it was a good idea and commends Galul Jah for his swift action. Sphene is frustrated by her powerlessness. She has grown tired of watching her people suffer, even centuries later, always spectating from the sidelines. She wants to protect her people's happiness by any means necessary, but this time she asks for help, asking her new friends to lend her their aid. Wuklamat is taken aback, then smiles, proud that Sphene found the words her endless self refused to ask. She promises her that together they will weather this storm, and you and your friends head back to the back rooms and try to prepare for the next time Calyx makes his move. Meanwhile, we cut back to living memory.
By illness weakened, by wounds unmade, by age decayed. Such fragile flesh is worthless to us. How mankind should evolve, shall evolve. I have already arrived at the answer. The time is come to pose a new question.